Hello. Hi, guys. Welcome back. I know it's been a while since I've been live, but I thought I'd just jump on here real quick today that we don't have a Dodger game because it is tomorrow. So I'm like, let me jump in and talk about Leo Santa Cruz versus Tank Davis, which is this Saturday. And we also have Naoya Inoue versus Maloney, one of the Maloney brothers. And of course, we have Usyk versus Chisora over on the zone, if I'm not mistaken. So just want to come on here and talk about that. And of course, I'm really excited for those fights. I know one of them is pay-per-view. If I'm not mistaken, I know a lot of people are kind of annoyed about the whole pay-per-view thing with PBC having pretty decent fights. I think they're pretty decent and they're pretty good fights. But having them pay per view when Top Rank had one of the most viewed cards in boxing in recent years, and it was free in Lomachenko versus Lopez. Now, of course, that was people were bringing up Thurman and Pacquiao or Thurman. I mean, Thurman houses the Lopez, which was also free and pulled a lot of numbers, but I don't want to see these as competitions as much as I want to see this as a point that boxing should be, for the most part, free and available across different platforms so that it could be viewed more, right? But getting into fight week, and of course, it's not going to be in Texas. I know that there's still a lot of people who have not purchased tickets to the fight, and I know the prices of the tickets are going down, which is honestly crazy because I was considering going to this card before they announced Garcia versus Spence, and I almost did buy tickets. So I'm like, damn, imagine if I would have gotten them at like regular price. I mean, I'm still not gonna go, but their prices are dropping if you do live in Texas or in the Texas area and you want to come to that fight. And as long as you're taking precautions. Hello, Rolando Torres says easy fight for Tank. So that's actually what I wanted to discuss today. I wanted to discuss kind of like a prediction style for all of us to see what we all think. You know what I mean? What we all think of this fight. A lot of people are saying it's going to be an easy fight for Tank. Other people like student Bryce Boswell says, I'm telling you, it's going to be an interesting fight for styles. And of course, there's a lot of things that we have to consider in this fight. Obviously, size is one of them, which is why Leo is dismissed very quickly, very often with I was gonna say Dodger fans, guys. I am so fucked up from the Dodgers right now. Like, I need them to win because if not, I'm gonna be fucking mad. So my bad. My head is in like game 6 tomorrow. So size is a thing that a lot of people dismiss Leo on, and rightfully so, in my opinion, because Leo came up from 118 and is now campaigning at 130 with somebody who is actually 135 and doesn't even really make weight most of the time. So it is kind of a thing that it's a valid concern for a lot of fans. You know what I mean? They have not won since I've been alive, so I need them to win tomorrow's stats. Por favor. A student says, but Leo's gas tank though? Yes, I got confused because as we know, Tank is Gervonta's nickname. So I'm like, what? But Leo's gas tank, yes. So as we know, Leo Santa Cruz is very known for being a volume puncher. He doesn't have much power, but he does have volume punching. And as we know, I don't know if you guys check out my interviews or not, but I did interview his strength and conditioning coach. And his strength and conditioning coach told me that they prepare to throw over 150 to 200 punches per round. So they are coming in with the mentality that they do want to overwhelm Tank coming in and maybe pressure him. You know what I mean? So as much as I do think that might work for a couple of rounds, trying to overwhelm Tank and kind of, smother him. Kind of, I guess, similarly. I think they're trying to do like similarly what Maidana tried to do with Floyd in the first fight, like kind of knock it off of him. At the same time, I feel like with someone like Tank who has a lot of power in he's very heavy fisted, that kind of puts you in a position where you're able to get counterpunched because you are so focused in, overwhelming your opponent and, throwing punches that you kind of let your defense down. And Leo has, from what I know, never been dropped. I know he's been staggered in the second or first Frampton fight. He's been staggered, but he's never been like extremely visibly, hurt, wobbled, stumbled. Leo has never been hurt. He's been staggered, stunned a little bit here and there with Frampton, but that's about it. So with me, when you look at Tank and you see his obvious power because he's knocked everybody out, and even with Yuri Ortiz, why do I suck at saying Gamboa's name? I suck at saying his name. Yuri Ortiz. Yuri Ortiz. It's just when I say it fast, I can't do it. Yuri Ortiz. Even with Yuri Ortiz Gamboa, yes, a lot of people probably actually give him a lot of shit for that fight because Gamboa is older already. He's on his way out, and they expected Tank to basically dispose of him pretty easily. But that thing went 12 rounds, and I think it was a 12-round stoppage or some shit like that. But Yuri Ortiz Gamboa actually gave Tank a really competitive fight compared to what most people thought. You know what I mean? So seeing that Yuri Ortiz Gamboa fight kind of gives people a chance to think that Leo, who is on the smaller side but is better at this point than an older Gamboa, they think he will have a better chance to also get the rounds in against Tank. Student says, I think the fight is gonna go either way. I can see Tank popping him with good shots and even footwork, but I also see Santa Cruz smothering him. Okay, so let's go into Santa Cruz as well. We know that Tank has gotten obvious highlight reel type of knockouts previous to this fight against Gamboa. So we know that most of his fights end pretty, in the mid to early rounds because his power is just too much for people to handle, right? And we know that Santa Cruz has not been wobbled, dropped. I mean, he's been stunned, but not wobbled, dropped, or severely hurt. Going into Santa Cruz as well, when I think of Santa Cruz's latest opponents, ever since, the Frampton fights, which I think those were the last fights that were really, really good. I know you can mention Mares, but in my honest opinion, I didn't feel like a second Mares fight was necessary. Yes, I get the whole LA, my bad, the whole LA rivalry. I do get that, we're both from LA and we want bragging rights to this LA area. I understand that because they're both Mexican and, the LA rivalry. I understand. They're both power punchers. They're both volume punchers and very similar styles. So I can see why that was a rematch, but I don't think it should have been. And I don't think we learned much from that fight, from watching them fight all over again that we hadn't already seen in the first one. So for me, Santa Cruz's last good matchup that was competitive and reasonable was Frampton. Carl Frampton. And when was that? 2017. So it's been 3 years that Leo Santa Cruz has been in a competitive fight. All the, recent fights, what was his name? Rivera and I don't know the other guys' names. I know one's Rivera. What's the other people's names? I don't know. That's how you know that I don't think Leo's previous competition has been a good stepping stone to get him to this level of competition in Tank Davis, who is 135 and again barely even fucking makes weight. Now a lot of people thinking about the weight claim that if Tank is coming in dehydrated or does make the weight, that's actually a plus for Santa Cruz because he'll be dehydrated, right? But I don't think he will do that this time because this is a huge fucking deal and this is a pay-per-view fight. So I think if you don't make weight, in your pay-per-view debut, I don't think that's gonna sit well with the fans and they'll just boot you right the fuck out and they won't support you anymore as, with pay-per-view specifically. So I don't know. I have to say Tank is going to do it. I'm not saying that he's going to knock Leo out in the first 2-3 rounds, right? But I do think he'll eventually catch Leo with a pretty good, sequence of shots that will make Leo take a knee and be stopped. I don't think he's going to knock out Santa Cruz fucking cold, because Santa Cruz is, he's never been hurt like that, but also I just feel like he's gonna try to keep going, like typical Mexican warrior type of shit, where he's getting hurt and he keeps going down, but he keeps getting up type of thing. So I think he's going to either get stopped or his dad's going to throw in the towel. I don't think that he gets knocked the fuck out, right? So that's my personal prediction. I want to hear you guys. I know most people, again, are disregarding Leo. I think Leo will look good while he can look good, but I think it's also going to be just a thing of size. And we saw this not this past weekend, before that, with Teofimo and Lomachenko, when we saw size fucking matters, and you should maybe fucking stay in your weight class. And I think that Leo Santa Cruz had no business going up to, he has no business at 130. None. There's too many people there that can hurt him. And again, no business. When you got Gary Russell in the same division at 126 with the same promoter, the same advisor, in this both fighting for Showtime or Fox, whatever you want to pick, I don't see why that fight didn't happen. Now, I know people are also, people that are more into things like, Al Heyman and all this other shit that doesn't have to do with, actually them fighting. A lot of people are saying, who's Al Heyman going to be backing? Because, of course, Tank is their, money team. Well, he's a champion now, so he's not a prospect. But he's like the young guy now coming up for the Money Mayweather team, and with Al Heyman, right? So is he going to favor Tank? Others say stuff like, I think Al Heyman is the godfather for Leo's kids or something like that. He's one of his, I think his son is his godfather. Es padrino, like Al Heyman is padrino of Leo's kids. So a lot of people, when they talk about the relationships that Al Heyman has built with Leo Santa Cruz, they said that they're very tight. Like he takes care of Leo, and of course I believe that, because Leo is one of the Mexican fighters who often has a lot of support, right? And has really, quote unquote good fights, and because it has a lot of backing from the fans here in the LA area, Mexican fans, he does get a lot of basically headlining cards, right? But now, who would Al Heyman choose? Basically, is a topic conversation between a lot of people who not only like boxing with inside the ring, but on the outside. Rolando says, who's next for Tank? Well, after Leo Santa Cruz, I would like to see him against a competitive 130 or 135. Like, I get the Leo fight, because to me, this is an equivalent of when he was going to fight Mares. If you guys don't remember, he was supposed to fight Mares here at the StubHub Center before Mares suffered a detached retina, and, that fight got called off. But I think Leo's going to have a better chance at standing his ground for more rounds than Mares would have, if that makes any sense. But next, I don't know, Berchelt, I would love to see him against Berchelt. I would love to see him against Lomachenko. Anybody at 130, 135 that is going to be competitive, not, Tank's going to knock this guy out, Tank in 8 KO. Oof. I'm waiting for his next one. Yeah, I mean, me too. But I think the thing is, with everything going on with Golden Boy right now, it's probably hard for them to have these fights or get opponents. The whole COVID thing, the whole drama with Golden Boy, the whole drama with the Zone. I'm pretty sure that's also taking a toll on other fighters. So, geez, who knows? But me too. I don't know when he would fight. I haven't really seen him as active on social media either. He's more of a reserved kid that plays guitar and video games, and I don't see him much online. Money team. Okay. So moving on, we also do have, of course, a top rank card. I don't know why. I mean, this was definitely PBC who moved their date last minute over to Halloween, but as we know, Top Rank already had that date reserved for Naoya Inoue, who will be making his Top Rank debut, and he's gonna be fighting here in the U.S. A lot of people think this is his first time fighting in the U.S., and it's not. If you guys remember, Inoue was part of Superfly 2, if I'm not mistaken. The HBO, back when HBO was a thing. I miss HBO. Do y'all miss HBO? Because I fucking miss HBO. But back when HBO was a thing, they had the Superfly series with, the Superfly weight class. And they will be, this one, that's when Naoya Inoue fought here for the first time. I think against Payano, if I'm not mistaken. Or Rodriguez. I don't remember which opponent. But he did fight here in the U.S. before. And it's very fitting for me for someone who's nicknamed the Monster to come back to the U.S. on Halloween and be fighting on that type of day when his nickname is a Monster. I think it's very fitting. I think Top Rank did a good thing there with the whole marketing thing. If only, my only complaint is that this fight I wish would have been on across all ESPN platforms as well. Not just ESPN Plus, because I think Naoya Inoue has a star power to get people talking about him and to get people excited about boxing, because he is a knockout dude. Yes, the last fight he went with Nonito Donaire, the tremendous fight of the year candidate fight in the World Boxing Super Series, amazing fight. But before that, he was knocking motherfuckers out, and also champions. He was taking other people's belts with authority. This guy was knocking dudes out, champions, guys who had never been down before, guys who had never lost before. And with Nonito Donaire, a lot of people like to dismiss Inoue after that fight, but put some respect on Nonito Donaire's fucking name. It's Nonito Donaire, like fucking vintage left hook Nonito Donaire. And I know he's older, and I know we saw him kind of decline, and then he, obviously in the World Box Super Series, he kind of, picked back up, and we all saw him get better, right? So I was expecting Inoue to hurt Nonito very badly, knock him the fuck out, and I was scared for Nonito Donaire, but at the same time, I'm not surprised that if there was one person that was going to take Inoue to deep waters, it was going to be the veteran, the legend Nonito Donaire, right? So I know a lot of people are like, oh well, hype job, the usual words people like to use with guys that they don't necessarily like or don't feel are necessarily proved anything yet. Inoue, I think the Maloney fight is an amazing fight. As we know, the Maloney brothers both are fighting out of Australia, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's Australia, not somewhere in the UK. But I'm pretty sure it's Australia. And the other Maloney brother recently lost to Josh Franco on DAZN. On Top Rank earlier in the summer series that they did, those Tuesday, Thursday fights, right? So I'm pretty excited for that fight. I'm not going to lie. I'm also not going to lie. I have not checked the undercard for that. I have not. Maybe I should, but I have not. And I'm still going to try to have both TVs out here in my living room and watch both cards. Though with the Tank Leo fight, I do feel kind of about paying for the pay-per-view, because I feel like, man, PBC already made me pay for what pay-per-view was the first one? I forgot what pay-per-view first, but then we paid for the Charlo pay-per-view. And now this one? Bruh, give me a break. It's COVID right now. I'm not making as much money as I used to be making, so why am I paying pay-per-view? What was the first PBC card that we had to pay for? I forgot. Which one was it? I'm so confused. I like to see Loma Davis. Me too. I would love to see that, but I don't think Lomachenko takes on anybody with the power that Davis has right now. And I think this is like when Triple G lost to Canelo that second fight. Now everybody wants a piece of Triple G, right? Because they think that they can beat him now that he didn't look as stellar as he usually did. And I think with Lomachenko is going to be the same effect. People, especially up-and-comer fighters who were kind of intimidated by his style, are more like, oh, well, if it's at 135, motherfucker, I could take you. And if it's at 130, I can take that dude because obviously size matters and he's too small. And I know the whole thing came out with Lomachenko and his shoulder. I mean, I understand how people are being dismissive of his shoulder injury, but at the same time, it is a legit injury, guys. Like I'm not taking anything away from Lopez. I think Lopez still won. Lopez still did his thing. Lomachenko still lost. Like, I'm sorry, he did. But I mean, that is an injury. So let's just, I don't think that's why he lost. I think he lost just because he is too small and Teofimo took away all his angles and he couldn't pivot. You can pivot with a broken arm, just not throw punches. And Lomachenko wasn't pivoting and doing his angle work like he usually does. Nothing has shit to do with his arm or his shoulder. So, I don't know. Corey says here, looks really cool breakdown. Thanks. Thank you. I'm going to try to change it before the month ends. Let's see. Yes, too many fucking belts, my dude. Did you guys see that today they're actually showing that the WBC made a belt for the Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. fight? I'm like, bruh, why the fuck do y'all need more belts? I don't understand. Well, so Killer by Night says Leo wins. Killer, let us know what round does he win? What is your breakdown? Why do you think Leo wins? Let me know, because I know a lot of people are always say that. They're like, oh, I got this person, or they don't say anything at all. And then once whoever wins, they're like, I knew that guy was going to win, especially the underdogs. So Killer by Night is at least being brave and going for the underdog, okay? Because a lot of people only say that after they win. Yes, I need to get a fire stick. I used to have one back when they first came out, and it wouldn't update anymore because it was like literally one of the first ones that came out. It looked like a little USB, but it wasn't like the one that we have that there is right now. It was like literally the first fire stick ever. And I had it hacked. And now obviously it wouldn't update, so I just switched to like regular cable. Javante today's going to knock Leo's head off 6-round KO. Woo! I like that you are still going more middle rounds, though, because you guys got to give Leo respect and know that he's very durable, at least in his own weight class. Obviously, this is a whole different weight class and with a whole different monster that has a lot of power. So, DJ Scarecrows, I like your prediction. I like that you are not, saying all first round, second round. So, I do like that. Matt Cedillo says, I would like to see Lomachenko drop 130 and take off. That's the fight that I've been wanting for years, my dude. Years. I would fucking sell my soul to see this fight. Berchelt, to me, is fucking awesome sauce. And I'm going to get a lot of heat for this, especially given his last performance. He looked like shit in his last performance, kind of. He looked slow. But I'm not like judging him because it's quarantine and that opponent was probably just to like stay busy and like get rounds in. At least that's what the fuck I tell myself. I don't think anybody beats Berchelt at 130. Quote me on it. Quote me on it. I don't think anybody beats Berchelt at 130. The Berchelt that we've seen that, yes, he likes defense, but he has a lot of power and he's pretty big too. He's kind of like Tank, like he's a Mexican Tank. Except with less defense. He gets tagged more, of course, but I think because he doesn't respect people's power in that weight class, he lets it be. He lets people punch him and he doesn't move his fucking head. Typical Mexican style type of fighter, right? Now, the intriguing part about this would be that, again, Lomachenko, we already saw that he shouldn't be at 135, but maybe at 130 with Berchelt might not be a good idea for him either because Berchelt is bigger. You know what I mean? Like, Berchelt is huge, and we already saw Lomachenko struggling with 135 people, and Berchelt is not 135 yet, but he's fucking huge. So, I don't know. I think Tank would be good with Berchelt, too. And with Tank, it's like, okay, well, now both of you motherfuckers punch hard, but this dude boxes better than this dude, so how would it go? So I think as much as back then, before Lomachenko, did all this, I wanted to see him against Berchelt, but now I think I would like to see Tank more against Berchelt, given the styles. That makes too much sense. I think there's a chance Leo could win. I could see Davis gassing into the pace. See, that's the thing. And again, I'm not sure if you guys see my interviews that I have here on this channel, or you guys use more of like, you guys like the lives more. Um, I did interview Leo Santa Cruz's strength and conditioning coach, Andy Aguilar, and again, he said that he was preparing Leo to go the distance and to also hurt Leo, to hurt Tank with his power output. So they're working on power output and the volume of punches, right? So now we got to remember that Tank always blows up a little bit. You know, he kind of looks pregnant here and there when he's not in camp, he blows up. And when I talked to Coach G, Coach Gloria, who is like a professional coach, she's a fucking badass coach. Shout out to Coach G. She actually brought up a really good point where she said that when you are a fighter and you're coming into camp heavy, like very heavy, you spend the first weeks of your camp not really training for your opponent, but you're focused on losing that weight. So you're basically, in her words, Jenny Craiging it, and you're doing fat camp, right? Because you're wasting time focusing on losing the weight instead of focusing on how you're going to strategize against your opponent. So that was their point on why they think Leo has an advantage over Tank Davis, because Tank Davis, as we know, is not the most disciplined guy in the world, especially he constantly doesn't make weight, especially when he moved up and he still didn't make weight. Like, how the fuck do you move up a whole weight class and you still don't make weight? Why? Because it doesn't matter the weight class. If you move up in weight class, then you're gonna eat a little bit more, right? Because hey, I can eat more now because I'm in a different weight class. But you shouldn't, because the reason you moved up is because you couldn't make the weight at the bottom anymore. So maybe you should stay the same. That way you're comfortable. But again, I still think that even through all of these things that are very valid points by both Coach Gloria and Coach Andy Aguilar, who's a strength and conditioning coach, I do still think that the disadvantage of size and power will be too much for him, for Leo Santa Cruz, and I think that Davis is going to ultimately get a knockout victory. Though, I wouldn't be surprised if Leo actually pulls through, and it would be pretty badass if I'm not lying, because I think we all know that. I think Leo is kind of being served to Gervonta as like kind of like a sacrificial lamb in a silver platter. Like, hey, here's a good name for you. You know, here's a good name for you to have on your resume that a lot of people are going to recognize, that the Mexican fans are going to respect, and you know, the casuals are going to be like, oof, there's a 4th division world champ. Oof, Tank beat him. Oof. And they won't know that this guy is coming all the way from like 118 and gradually moved up in his career, but hasn't knocked anybody out since, like, what was that last fight? Like in 2017? And that was like a late stoppage. So it's like, but it looks good when on paper, right? Corey says the Fire Stick is great. I'm gonna try to order one and have somebody hack it before Saturday. Wish me luck. Because I don't want to pay another $75, $85. Hell no. It looks really good. Skill fighters against. Yes, we shall see. Can we close the door? Is distracting. My door? What's wrong with my door? How is that distracting? Is somebody poking out and looking at you? Oh my god, I watched a scary movie last night. I don't want to think about that. Oh my god. Why did you say that, Seth? Now I'm scared. I watched a scary movie last night because I thought I was brave. No, I can't stop staring over there. Hi, Chris. ¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo estás? What about Canelo? Canelo's still in a lawsuit with both Golden Boy and DAZN. So right now, I don't think he's going to be fighting anytime soon, which honestly, I fucking hate it. It pisses me off because he is losing a year of his prime. You know, not just to COVID, but to this freaking lawsuit. Basically, this dumbass lawsuit with DAZN and Golden Boy. And I don't blame him for suing them, but motherfucker, like, please. You're wasting a year. You're wasting a whole year of your prime. So I'm pretty sad about it. He hasn't fought. No, honestly, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think the Fuimo's been the same. I think he was a little bit emotional after in the post-fight interview and the post-fight press conferences because he won. That's what he wanted, right? And he wanted just the respect. Oh, tell me about my. He wanted the respect, right? So I think he was just emotional because of that. I don't think his head blew up. In my opinion, I don't think so. I think he was just basically saying like, "Hey, I told you I would beat this dude. Now can I have my motherfucking respect? Can you guys put respect on my name, right?" And then I think he has a little bit of beef with Top Rank. I don't know if you guys saw the post-fight press conference. He was throwing a lot of shade at Top Rank, not only Top Rank as a whole, but individual Top Rank members, because when he got on the podium thing to talk, or on the chair to talk post fight, he referred to somebody in the room, and he said, "Oh look, oh yeah, I know you were going for Loma, but look who's here now." And then the guy's like, "Oh, Teofimo, I work for Top Rank. Like, don't do that." Right? So it's kind of really intense to see him like that. And then also he mentioned something that didn't sit right with me. And again, I'm not sure if you guys saw the post-fight press conference after his victory with Lomachenko, but he said that Top Rank offered him his salary for the next 4 fights should he lose to Lomachenko. So they were expecting him to lose already, and they had made him a plan for how much he would get paid after he lost, not after he won. They had already made him sign how much he would get paid based on losing against Lomachenko, which I think that's why he was talking so much shit, and that's why he was so mad. Because imagine that. Imagine your promoter making you agree to sign to your salary for the next upcoming 4 fights based on you losing the fight that you have ahead of you. Like, that is fucked up. And, I can see why Teofimo was acting that way after, but I don't think his head blew up. I think he's just more like, see, I told you guys. And I know when fighters are more outspoken like that, obviously they catch more heat from different type of fans that don't necessarily take well to that. But at the same time, he's talking right now, and he's backing up what the fuck he's talking. So as long as he keeps backing up what he's talking, then I think people are going to be more accepting of that. Now you also mentioned I like Leo No Lie. He's a good person. Yeah, he's a good. He's very humble. But I have to go with Davis and I think that is my perspective as well. I don't always just go for the Mexican guy just because we're Mexican. Like, I rarely do that. I rarely go for anybody. Period. I just want a good fight. But I think it does hurt more when the other guy is like a decent, nice, humble dude, and he about to get his ass beat. Like, that always hurts. That's how I felt with Derevyanchenko and Charlo. I knew that Derevyanchenko was going to put up a good fight because it's Derevyanchenko, but I knew that Charlo was going to beat his ass, and it hurt. Like, I like Derevyanchenko too much to see him get his ass beat. So I get you on that. Oh, you hit that door. Take Brazil exactly what's going with boxing. Both of these fighters avoiding better fights make them a great division. Barca Raider, I do have to a certain extent, agree with that, because as I mentioned earlier, I would have much rather seen Gary Russell and Leo Santa Cruz at 126 instead of him moving up and seeing Gary Russell make call-out videos for everybody else in other fucking divisions instead of just fighting each other. As with Leo, as much as I didn't want him to move up, I don't think he has any business at 130. Neither does Oscar Valdez, in my opinion. I think Valdez and Leo should have fought at 126. That would have been awesome. But of course, the OPBC and Top Rank bullshit didn't allow that. But imagine those fights. Imagine Leo staying at 126, fighting Gary Russell, having fought Oscar Valdez, and just fighting the guys at 126. Why are you going to move up to fight fights that don't make sense? Like, moving up should be because you're going to chase the better fights at that weight class. Eventually, you don't have to like move up and like fight the best like Mikey did immediately. And that's what Tank is doing. I mean, that's what Leo's doing. Instead of moving up and, what do they call it? Dipping your feet in the division. Like, instead of dipping his feet, it's like, cool, let me see if my body can handle the power of these guys at 135. Let me see if, I don't even got power at 126. What makes me think I'm going to have power at 130? Like, the whole thing doesn't make much sense to me. Now with Tank again, I think with him more than avoiding, I think this is a fight that he wants because it looks good on paper. Again, like Leo is a 4 division world champion, and that he's only had one defeat, which was a majority decision, so it was not a one-sided type of beatdown. And I think it looks good on paper, and I think that's why Tank wants this fight and has no problem with this fight because it looks good on paper. You see the name, you're like, oh, this guy. No. Another one, Junior says Leo wins. So we do have I'm surprised that we do have Leo believers here. Junior, how does Leo win? Let us know. I love when people say who they think is gonna fight, who thinks gonna especially an underdog, and when they say it before the fight. Because if Leo wins, after everybody can be like, I knew he was gonna win. But people who have balls say it before, That's weird. I never said anybody told me shut up my door. Do you think Defin will go up in weight? I think he does, but I don't think he goes up yet. I know that he is now undisputed, and I know that he could be like, oh, well, I already got all the belts. What the fuck do I need to defend them for? I'm just going to move up to 140. He might, but again, I think just quoting him from the post-fight interviews, his dad was the one that said, oh, we're going to move up because Teofimo can't make weight anymore. And Teofimo came back, and when they asked him, like, hey, your dad said you can't make weight anymore. He's like, no, I can make weight. He's like, I already got, he got a house. He's got a whole little gym set up in his house, and he says he's got a nutritionist now, and that he can definitely keep making weight. The thing is, though, Chris, and you know this, Chris, out of everyone, this, if Teofimo moves up to 140, the narrative that he moved up to avoid Devin Haney will fucking just run rampant. People will push that narrative so much. They will say that shit till their fucking mouths stop working. That he moved up to avoid Devin Haney. So I think knowing Teofimo and how he has been liking to prove people wrong, as we've seen, I think he does take the Devin Haney fight. But I think it will depend on Devin Haney, and not much on Devin Haney as much as the whole promotional companies working together bullshit. Even though we know DAZN and Top Rank have worked together before, like with the Ramirez Hooker fight, right? So I think that fight can definitely happen. I also think Teofimo has no one to fear in that division, in my opinion. I think the Devin Haney fight will be the most competitive. I know the whole Ryan Garcia thing is there. I don't think Ryan Garcia fights Teofimo. I don't. So I feel like all those fighters are also young in that division, right? So I think if he moves up, it'll be to fight other guys that are currently like in their prime, or kind of on the later prime type of thing, than facing other up-and-comers like him, who are already champions, but they're still young because they want to marinate those fights or make those fights when there is people allowed. So if maybe Devin Haney and Teofimo do meet up, but maybe it'll be at 140. Now, Teofimo at 140 would be fucking amazing too. I would love to see that. But I think right now with Top Rank 2, they have all the 140s, and I think it'd be too much conflict of like having all the 140s because they want to keep all the champions. You know what I mean? I know they have the Ramirez and Taylor unification for early next year, supposedly, and I can't wait. And yeah, it would be cool to see. Imagine Teofimo jump up and fight immediately to be undisputed after, whoever wins from Taylor and Ramirez. And then imagine Teofimo jumps up and fights the winner of that, and then he becomes undisputed at 140. That'd be huge. But I think he stays at 135 for a little bit longer, but I don't know. So do you think he would fight Tank? I would love to have that, especially because of the whole WBA bullshit. Like the WBA has regular champion and all these other champions, and I think that's Tank, right? Tank's one of the low regular champions. I don't want to say it like that. It sounds mean. But I know like it'd be like more of a cool, little unification type of thing. What happened to Ugas? The guy's supposed to be a boogeyman. Well, Ugas just won, and I think he also won like a WBA little, participation belt. He just fought. If I'm not mistaken, Ugas fought in September. He fought on Labor Day weekend, if I'm not mistaken, because I remember that I was watching that. Right? Right, guys? Ugas fought like last September, like this past September, and he won. And he won one of those little belts. That's all I know about him. But he's not with his. Have you guys seen Ugas' wife? That bitch is fine. She is so fucking bomb. Follow him on Twitter. Follow Ugas on Twitter. He posts his wife all the time. She is fucking bomb. You're welcome. Tank called him out. Tank called out what? Teofimo? I mean, I think Tank needs to take care of this fight first. And I know he's probably most likely going to win, but I still think he should worry about that first before, calling out other fighters. Hello, Diego. Don't watch. I won't watch the Dodgers tomorrow. It's pinky promise because that'll probably be bad luck. I won't. I'll watch another scary movie. What's going on with Ryan Garcia? Well, Ryan Garcia is actually fighting Luke Campbell on December 5th, and that's the same day as Spence versus Garcia. So Oscar de la Hoya and the Zone came out saying that the Ryan Garcia fight is going to be in the afternoon. So I think they don't want, especially with the Zone. The Zone cannot afford any competition right now, especially not for such a fight like Garcia versus Spence, because most likely most people are going to be tuning in to Garcia versus Spence more than they would to Garcia versus Luke Campbell, as much of a good fight as that is. So with Ryan Garcia fighting Luke Campbell at the same date as that pay-per-view event, they are opting to do the Ryan Garcia versus Luke Campbell fight during the afternoon. So it'll be like an afternoon fight. I don't know if that means they'll have it in the UK. I think it's just going to be here in LA, but during the afternoon. So, yes, Ryan Garcia versus Luke Campbell, December 5th on The Zone. Chris says he said he's not thinking about Tank. Tank said that he still said because he's going to move up. He might move up. I mean, 140's lit, too. 140's fucking lit, and I wouldn't mind seeing Teofimo fight the Baranchiks and the Zepedas and the hookers, like the hookers. Those type of guys, the guys that are on top too, but not top, like Taylor and Ramirez right away. Albie says Leo gets hit a lot and he's known for the power, and he's not known for power punching. How much of a chance do you honestly give Leo, and do you think Leo's volume punching negates Tank's power and disrupts the rhythm? So I do like that question a lot, because it's true. We know that Tank is the power. We know that Leo has no power, and Leo has a little tick that he does. You guys see the little tick? He'll be like punching, and then he'll be like, imagine timing him when he does his little tick. Like, I don't get how nobody has timed him yet, because he does a little tick, right? He's like this, because he has really good defense in the way that he keeps his fucking hands very close to his face. So he's like this, and he'll throw a punch, and then he does this. Have you guys seen him? He does that shit all the time. And I'm like, why doesn't anybody time him? Like, and just pop him right when he's doing that thing. I don't know. Maybe his reflexes, I'm just, not giving credit to his reflexes. I do think that he will be coming out very, very busy with the punches, because again, I've interviewed his strength and conditioning coach, who has told me that they are working on his power output, but also they want to smother Tank, that they do want to throw at least 150 to 200 punches per round. However, we all have a plan to come in and do something, right? Especially with Leo, you're like, yeah, I can come in and like land 150 punches because that's what I'm known for. I'm known for throwing over 100 punches per round. That's nothing new to me. I could do that. But let's say you're trying to throw a punch and one comes back at you heavy as fuck from a heavy-handed dude like Tank. You're going to want to maybe think twice about coming in with that frequency, coming in trying to smother him, because that means that you will leave yourself a little bit more open for him to counter you with heavier hands. So, while I do think his volume punching will be on point for a couple of the first rounds and he will have some success smothering Tank, I think eventually Tank's power will definitely, do its thing. I don't think it's going to disrupt his rhythm for too long. But at the same time, we did see his fight against Gamboa, and that, you could just bring that up, and that would be a very valid point. So I just think that Leo's too small. Lomachenko's too small for 135 and 130, in my opinion. Leo has no business at 130. That's just my opinion. What do you think about Mikey still winning the fight, Pac-Man? I think the fight actually does happen. I think this fight, I think if the pandemic wouldn't have happened this year, I think this fight would have happened this year because um, Manny Pacquiao, I think, had only one fight left with Al Heyman, with his, like with his contract with Al Heyman. And after that, I'm pretty sure DAZN, even though they don't have much money anymore, I feel like they would have thrown so much fucking money at both Manny Pacquiao and Mikey Garcia to fight, and that fight would have taken place sometime in, it was supposed to be like sometime in the summer or like this around this time, but in Saudi Arabia. And I know this because I actually talked to Eddie Hearn back when, the beginning of the year when Jesse Vargas fought Mikey Garcia, and he mentioned, that would be a possibility, that he would love to have Mikey and Manny fight, but it would most likely take place in the Middle East, like kind of like Joshua Ruiz too, where the prince over there of Saudi Arabia would take care of the cost, basically, I assume. And, I don't know. I think he still wants to fight him. I think I think this is an interesting fight. I'm not mad at it. So Junior says by decision. All right. Your door's trending. You can't even see nothing. It's dark. Tank is going to get frustrated and then try to knock Leo out. Leo's going to use that to advantage and outpoint him. I love that take, Ariana. I love that take because that may be it. I was expecting Teofimo to do that. I was expecting Teofimo to grow frustrated before, obviously, the first round started. Well, after the first 3 rounds, I'm like, what the fuck? Lomachenko ain't doing shit. But that's what was kind of my prediction. Like, like Teofimo's going to get frustrated. He's going to just start headhunting, and it's just going to be easier for Lomachenko to, outpoint him if he does, as long as he doesn't get caught, right? So that's a really good point that you're making because it's definitely a possibility. I think Leo's a 4-division world champ for, a good fucking reason, and he does have a really nice boxing ability. And, if his chin holds up, we all mentioned like, if Tank gets tired or if Tank this, but maybe Leo just has a really good fucking chin. And if everything that lands from Tank, it's not hurting Leo and Leo can take it, then Leo's going to, be more successful with his volume punching, regardless of whether it's hurting Tank at the, aggressively or not. If he's landing the better punches and landing the more accurate, crisper punches, even if he's taking some in return, as long as he's holding them and he's not getting hurt, he can definitely outpoint Tank, you have a sellout fight like Floyd, part of your fight, this. What? I think this is just a comment to say that you hate Floyd. Okay. There you go. Thank you for your participation. Loma wants to get his run back. I mean, I don't think he will fight Teofimo again. There was not even and that's what Teofimo mentioned as well after. He's like, they didn't even think I was going to beat Lomachenko, so they didn't even want a rematch clause. There was no rematch clause for this fight because they didn't think they would need it. And look what happened. What's up with Virgil Ortiz? Virgil Ortiz is not fighting right now. Obviously, I think he just doesn't have an opponent because of the whole mess with Golden Boy and DAZN, and I think that's taken away from a lot of fighters not having fights. Everyone calling up down now, but nobody actually sends a call. Thank you. This. Now, this is what the fuck I want to see. Even if you don't, agree to the fight at the end of the day, but the fact that you initiate something that does give you leverage to say, like, motherfucker, I send a contract. If fighters these days took more time to actually send contracts instead of being like Twitter fingers type of thing, I would actually get excited for fights possibly being made. And this reminds me of a couple months ago when Keith Thurman sent the contract to Crawford, and Crawford and Bob Arum completely dismissed it because he asked for 10 grand, right? And while I do agree that people must have been like, what the fuck? You want 10 million to fight Crawford in the middle of the pandemic, and what the fuck? When Amir Khan only got 5 or whatever to fight Crawford. But come on, Keith Thurman had already been champion. He had fought on pay-per-view before. He has gotten great numbers before with Jose Lopez, which put like a bunch of fucking people, millions of people tuned in to watch that. So Keith Thurman has that in his power, right? He's got a lot of viewership proved, not just because he fought Pacquiao. Like before he fought Pacquiao, when he fought Jose Lopez, he got like 5 million viewers, if I'm not mistaken, right? So he's been a pay-per-view star before. He's gotten a lot of viewers. He was one of the longest reigning champions before, obviously, Manny Pacquiao. But he was fucking Keith Thurman, even though he already lost his belt, right? And Crawford, what? He fights on ESPN Plus. Since he was undisputed at 140, but since moving up to 147, he has not fought decent opposition because of his affiliation with Top Rank and the whole PBC bullshit. They don't like each other. That's stupid. We get it. It sucks. But I think, yes, Thurman asking for 10 million is kind of like, what the fuck? But you also send a high number so that, because you're expecting them to kind of counter offer you, right? You're not going to be reasonable and be like, hey, you know what? I'll take 2 million. No, because you always start with a high bid so that you go back and forth and kind of hopefully end up somewhere in the middle, right? I'm pretty sure they said, hey, actually, can we give you 5 million just like we gave Amir Khan? That would have been like, okay, let's do this. But Keith Thurman proved he proved that he was serious about a fight when he sent an actual fucking contract. And Bob Arum confirmed that he did send a contract. Did he confirm it was for 10, that he was asking for 10 million? Yes. But for Crawford to go on Twitter and be like, oh, you're asking for 10 million? Oh, that's only showing you don't really want to fight me. You're just outselling yourself. No, I don't think that's how it works. It's called negotiating, motherfucker. Like, why don't you guys just negotiate? We'll give you this. And then that way, if let's say they said, actually, we'll give you 5 million. Or, Teofimo and Loma, we'll give you 2 million just because it's a pandemic. And if they said that and Keith Thurman was like, no, then Keith Thurman would have looked bad. Because, motherfucker, why are you expecting 10 million in a pandemic? Like a 2 million, just like the other guys got, that would have made sense for Top Rank to counteroffer. But they didn't even counteroffer. They were just like, no, 10 million, fuck you. Get out of here. So this is what that reminds me of. You can send the contract, and as long as someone counters, then it's a good, negotiating 101. That's how the fuck you negotiate. But if the other team just misses it and acts like you didn't even send shit, that's on them. Because you took initiative and you sent the contract. And I wish everybody's talking will send their contract. Obviously, I don't think they do it right now because he just fought. So that would take, I think the wants to, I think he's right now on vacation with his wife. Power to him. Before probably getting back to the drawing board, What did you think about the Estrada fight? Oh, man, that was such a good fight, dude. Oh, my God. That was an amazing fight. Shout out to Cuadras because he looked way better than I thought he would have. Cuadras has, plummeted, after his fight against Estrada, if I'm not mistaken. He lost. Then he started fighting, training out of Abel Sanchez's camp. And I didn't think he looked too good when he was with Abel Sanchez. I did not like that partnership whatsoever. And then, he had those problems with recreational drugs. So he stepped out of the boxing ring for a bit. But I love Carlos Cuadras. He is the shit, my dude. He's one of my favorites, even though he was champion only for a bit and he lost to Chocolatito. And I do feel bad for him because even in the interviews, he said it himself. Yes, I know they're trying to make the rematch with Estrada and Chocolatito, but I want that rematch too with Chocolatito. He's like, I think I beat him. And a lot of people think Chocolatito lost Cuadras, right? But I think as much success that he had with Estrada, because honestly, Junior, I was surprised that Estrada made it Cuadras' fight. We know Estrada's more of a slick boxer. Yes, he engages, but he's also very defensive, very skillful guy. Estrada, in my opinion, very underrated dude. But with this fight, we saw he got knocked down. And that blew my mind because it was Estrada who knocked down Cuadras in their first fight, which obviously cost him to win because he won by 1 point in most scorecards. I think it was 114, 114 or something like that, or 115, 113, which the 2 points. So if it weren't for the knockdown, it probably would have been a draw or he would have lost, right? So it was crazy to me that this time he got dropped by Cuadras, which was kind of like, what are you doing, my dude? Like, you are a boxer more than a puncher. Like, why don't you just outbox this dude? But I think he, wanted to give the fans a good fight, and it was a really good fight. I didn't watch it on the zone. I watched it on a Mexican stream, and I really liked it. I really liked that fight. I think it makes that rematch much more interesting with Chocolatito, because we know Chocolatito got the victory. And we saw, that amazing knockout victory over Yafai back in February. So I think this fight, maybe Estrada was like, oh, I want to seem vulnerable, so Chocolatito think he got a chance, but I'm going to beat his ass in the second one. So I'm excited to see now Estrada versus Chocolatito. I'm super excited. Chocolatito looked good. Like, his combinations were really sharp as per usual, vintage Chocolatito. But at the same time, I just can't help but think that he is a little bit damaged still. Like, having him seen hurt twice already makes me feel like Estrada can capitalize on it now, because Estrada has only gotten better without plummeting down. Estrada has been gotten better and better and better. Chocolatito was on the top of everything, and then boom, down. And yeah, he's getting up there, and the Yafai victory was great, but I think there's still some like ghost of Rung Visai haunting Chocolatito, and I think maybe Estrada is going to expose some of that. Not in the term expose like every other, like, just like, he's going to make that a better fight. Why is Danny Jacobs? Fuck! Matt, why you remind me of that? That's such a stupid ass fucking fight. Tell me why Danny Jacobs and Billy Joe Saunders are fighting like a week apart against dumbass opponents that don't make sense. No offense to Gabe Rosado, because Gabe Rosado, he deserves respect. He gives us good fights. He loses a lot, but he gives us good fights, right? So nothing against Gabe Rosado, but what does this fight do for Jacobs? What the fuck does fighting Gabe Rosado do for Jacobs' career? Especially 168. Like, what are you doing? They're both for the zone. Why don't Jacobs and Billy Joe fight each other at 168? And then Gabe Rosado and that other guy, what's the other guy's name? Harris? What's his, Williams? Harris? I don't fucking know what the guy's who's he fighting? It's fighting Murray, right? That's Murray. The other guy that's fighting is also Boo Boo. Isn't Boo Boo fighting in the same card too? Boo Boo's fighting in the same card as Dan Jacobs against some like random too. And it's like, why are you guys, all of you guys that are like the zone or Matchroom, why are you guys fighting randoms when you guys can fight each other? Boo Boo can fight Billy Joe, or Jacobs can fight Billy Joe or Boo Boo. They're all at 168 right now, all fighting like a week apart. I think Jacobs and Boo Boo are fighting on the same fucking card, same weight class against two randoms. No offense to Gabriel Rosado, of course, or the other fighters. But it just doesn't make any fucking sense. Why don't you guys just fight each other and then leave the other opponents to fight each other, and then it'd be more competitive for all of us. It'd be more competitive for you two that are champions, and it'd be more competitive for the other two that are not champions, so that they can go at it, and make a more interesting card. Because what the fuck? They're all like everybody wants to criticize Canelo because he doesn't fight whoever the fuck y'all want him to fight. Meanwhile, all these guys, Dan Jacobs, Billy Joe, and Boo Boo, they're just fighting whoever the fuck they throw at them instead of fighting each other. And that irks the shit out of me. Again, I'm not throwing shade on Gabriel Rosado. I think Gabriel Rosado gives us some good fights. His fight against Sulecki was pretty fucking entertaining. I'm not mad at Gabe. This is not about Gabriel Rosado. This is about Danny Jacobs not fighting who he should be fighting. And I'm not sleeping on Gabe because I think he loses to Jacobs too. I'm sorry. And even if he wins, so what? He's shit pisses me off. Lily, do you think Leo can make this a decision? What chance do you give? I mean, I give him, let's say, I'm gonna be generous here and say 30%. I think I give him a 30%, 30, 35, 40 at most, that he can make this a decision if he has a really, really good fucking chin, like surprisingly good, like better than Gamboa. Because Gamboa was down, 3 times? Even though he didn't get, knocked the fuck out, he was down. So I want to say, yeah, I'm going to say, 35%. chance that he gets a decision against him. Barca says Leo's getting stopped. I think I have to agree with that. But I think it's going to be like him taking a knee and stuff. I would love to see that. This is not the first time Spence calls out Canelo. Spence has done various interviews where he says he walks around at 160, so he could definitely face Canelo. I think he should. I would like to see him fight Crawford first before he talks about Canelo. Honestly, would I love the Canelo fight? Fuck yes, I would love that fight. But I want him to fight Crawford. I lately do not give a fuck about any fight that Spence does or Crawford does unless it's against each other. I know obviously Spence has better chances at opposition because of the whole PBC thing. They have the most welterweights, and that calls for really decent fights, but not the fight I want to see. And most fight fans want to see. We all want to see Crawford. So I would hate for him if he just like moves up and then forgets about Crawford and just wants to fight Canelo. I'm not saying it would be a bad fight. I just want to see Crawford. I don't know. That's what I just mentioned, Matt. I don't know. I would love for people to keep that same energy. If you're gonna hate Canelo for like not fighting who you want to fight, makes sense. It's valid. Canelo has some questionable, calls in his career. I can agree with that. But hold all the other fighters to that same standard, because Saunders, Andre, Jacobs, dudes that all are on Matchroom or Zone, whatever you want to call it, and they don't fight each other. Why not? All three of these guys are fighting dudes that have no business fighting them right now. Not in the same caliber. So why don't y'all fight each other? I don't get it. It's irking me to think about. Chris says he didn't call out. Barca says that Chris, he didn't Canelo. He answered a question and he said he would fight that fight. Yeah, I mean that's also a good point to make, Barca, because I'm a journalist, so we know how to ask questions so that later we could put, this guy called out this guy. I try not to do that because that's clickbait. But I also see why people do it because it's clickbait. Because you want people to check out your content. So you're going to, you're going to sort of like, it's like a sheep and like a fucking sheepdog. Like he guides the sheep to the cages, right? He guides the sheep to the corral, whatever you want to call it, right? That's how journalists do. They ask questions hoping for a specific response. Hoping for a specific response that they can later clip out a certain part and put it as a headline so people come in and they're like, oh, well, that's good, but also that's not entirely what he said, right? So that is very obviously people are going to ask Spence about Canelo because we all can see that fight being a super fight, and given the styles as well, like that would be an amazing fucking fight. And I'm pretty sure that Spence would definitely just casually be like, yeah, I'll fight Canelo, even if he wouldn't be asked. Or if we would ask like, hey, what's one of the fights in the future that you would love to have? Pretty sure he'd be like, oh, Canelo, and we're like, oh, okay. I'm not saying he didn't call him out, but I'm also not saying that what you're saying is wrong, because as a journalist, I can see how a lot of people do that. They do, fighters are just answering questions. And a lot of times too, fighters will answer questions based on what they know the fans want to hear, regardless of whether they really plan on it or not. Because let's say, yes, Spence said that he would like to fight Canelo, right? But the fight doesn't happen. As long as he fights other fighters that are good fighters and keeps busy in a competitive level, I don't think people will care. Like, hey, remember you said you were going to fight Canelo, but you never did. What the fuck? I don't think that people will hold it against him, given the disparities in weight classes. I know they probably, walk around the same weight. I don't know about Canelo now that he moved up. But it's not a far-fetched idea that they would probably meet up in the ring. But I don't think people are going to hold it against Spence if he's like, well, remember that one time in 2020 when you said you would fight Canelo, but you haven't. So what about it? I don't think it would be like that. Stats combination of selection reminds me a lot of, oh my God. Please enlighten me with more of those comments because I love those type of comments, especially from Estrada. Estrada is underrated as fuck, but I think it's because a lot of people don't really pay attention to small weight classes because they don't move down from 147, maybe 140, but the lower weight classes, schmeck. Who do you think wins in the second fight, Povetkin? Oh, I know this fight should be happening. This rematch is happening, right? When is that rematch? I know it's happening soon. Who do I think wins? I don't know. That is a really good question because, as we know, Povetkin had been down twice, and it wasn't like he was so staggered and hurt, but he had been dropped twice. What? And I think I was honestly I was watching this fight with my dad that weekend. Like I rented an Airbnb. We were having like a pool party, and it was just my mom, my dad, myself, and my two kids. And I was out watching the fights. My kids were in the pool, and my dad and I were sitting down, drinking a beer, watching this fight. And I was telling my dad, I'm like, I like Povetkin, and he's about to get stopped. I'm like, he's about to get knocked the fuck out because he keeps getting caught, and eventually he's not gonna get up, right? So I was like, that sucks. And then all of a sudden, he just sleeps Dillian Whyte, and my heart is like at the top of my lungs, and I'm yelling and I'm screaming and I'm just freaking out because I cannot believe what the fuck I just saw. Right when Povetkin had been down twice before, and I thought he was about to get stopped soon. That happened. I was like, my dude. That's why those are the type of fights that remind you that anything can happen in boxing, and you love boxing because anything can happen, right? Now, given a second fight, I don't think that it will be too far apart in the chances. I'm pretty sure it's still gonna be 50-50, especially how the first fight ended. But I think if Povetkin still has that lethal one punch knockout power, I think we can maybe get a double dose of what happened in the first fight. I think he can, either this time Dillian Whyte is not going to wait that long to finish him and is going to take more chances to try to finish him. But at the same time, again, by taking more chances to finish your opponent who's more heavy-handed than you, you put yourself at risk to get countered with those same heavy-ass fucking hands. So it could go either way, right? Maybe this time Dillian Whyte does successfully stop Povetkin, but Povetkin might just sit him on his fucking ass again and sleep him. What was crazy to me is that Eddie Hearn came out in an interview talking about, he wasn't knocked out, he was conscious. Both of them did. Both Dillian Whyte and Eddie Hearn said something like that, he wasn't knocked out completely. Motherfucker, you were out before you even hit the canvas. What are you talking about? I would count the seconds that you were out. But shit, I don't get it. I don't get why people or them claim that. So what do you think, though, Junior? That's a good fucking fight. That was a good fight. I was tripping, I swear. After having cherry pick fight for the top fight. Well, I mean, the zone's gonna allow any content right now because they are struggling. Easy for Canelo. Which one? Which one's easy for Canelo? Spence? Do you believe that Neves is really gonna change his one? Wait, I don't know. I feel like it's hit or miss with Eddie Reynoso because a lot of people go to him because they think he's gonna suddenly turn them into little Canelos, or in his case, bigger Canelos. And that is not the case. It's hit or miss. Look at Oscar Valdez. I personally do not like Oscar Valdez under Eddie Reynoso. I haven't seen any significant changes. And the contrary, I feel like he completely fucked up Oscar Valdez's style. In my opinion, Oscar Valdez, all he needed to be told was motherfucker, can you please move your head a little bit more so you don't get caught? And close your fucking mouth when you're throwing punches. Stop yelling. Because I used to be at the gym every other day when Oscar Valdez was with Manny Robles. I was there every other day. And this dude yells when he's sparring. Why are you yelling? That leaves your chin, and your jaw ready for motherfuckers to pop, and you're gonna break your jaw. That's just clench your fucking jaw, my dude. So I think with him it would have been mostly hey, just move your head a little bit more. Let's try to not engage without some defense. But again, that's just his style. When guys have a style like that, they can maybe improve a little bit, but you can't expect them to be these defensive wizards or focus on counterpunching. And I think that's what people like from Reynoso, right? That he turns you more in a fast hands counterpunching, kind of similar to Canelo, but it doesn't work for everybody. In my opinion, it doesn't work for Valdez. For Nettie, I didn't like it either. Nettie, again, he didn't look aggressive in his last fight, and I'm not taking anything away from the opponent because the opponent was undefeated. The opponent was undefeated, and you gotta give undefeated guys their credit, regardless of whether you think they're tomato cans or whoever the fuck's. No, this guy was undefeated, and he was undefeated for a reason. But Nery's aggressiveness was gone, and I'm like, I didn't like that. So for Nery and Valdez, I didn't like the Reynoso. But for Brian Garcia and the Reynoso is good. Like, that kid is learning a lot. You can tell that he's more disciplined. You can tell that his power output is there. You can tell that his punches are just as fast but more accurate. You can tell that his counterpunching will be on point. So for Ryan Garcia, it worked. Now, given that Andy Ruiz has similar assets as to Ryan Garcia, which is hand speed and counterpunching, then Reynoso might be a good fit because fast hands and counterpunching is already something that Andy Ruiz does well. And he's not like terrible defense either. So I think if he is able to be disciplined and actually listen, and I think this was more about discipline. I think, being in the Canelo team, you have to be disciplined. Look how he made Nery make weight. When Nery had to make weight like in a while, Reynoso made that dude make weight, right? So maybe I think that's what they're trying to get from the Canelo team, to be more disciplined and sharpen those skills that he already has. And I think that's what Eddie Reynoso does well. He takes what you got that you're already kind of good at, that you're decent at, that it's like an asset of yours, and he, reinvents it and he makes it better. But for guys that are more aggressive and more, into engaging, that might not be the best thing, because not everybody's going to want to turn or is going to properly adapt to being a Canelo. You know what I mean? But I'm interested. I'm watching. So Matt says that the rematch is 11/21. Okay. I'm ready. Have you heard of the channel Fight Film? The guy is deluded. Do you have like 15 videos on his No. Shut the fuck up. People are doing that? People are really... Guys, I was like really sick. Not COVID. Not COVID. But I had like really bad fevers, not COVID. I took a test and it wasn't COVID. But I think I just got the regular flu because I was like sick. I was feeling like shit. I've been working a lot. So I have not been on the whole YouTube game as much as I used to be back when quarantine first started, because if you remember, I'd be like live every week. I'm going to try to get back on the live every week shit. But I took that last week off because I was sick. I was so fucking sick. My kids were in school. I was homeschooling them. It's a mess. But I did not know this. I thought we all collectively agreed that Lopez won, and it was convincing. I mean, I had an argument with some friends that I'm not friends with anymore over this. Because I watched the fight by myself here, and they're like, hey, who did you have winning the fight? And I'm like, I had Lopez winning the fight. What do you mean? And they're like, oh, come over, let's debate. We're going to roast you. And I'm like, okay. But I'm like, oh, we're going to debate, right? I like debating. This is why we go live, so we can debate, and we can all debate. But I'm like, how can they... Wait, I'm on my way. They're my friends. And I go, and they just start attacking me and trying to make me feel stupid for thinking that Lomachenko lost. They're like, how the fuck are you that fucking dumb? They didn't say those specific words, but that's how they came across, and that's very much what they were trying to say. They're like, how the fuck does Loma lose when he was a more accurate puncher? Like, if you throw 100 punches, but you only hit me with 28, and I throw 5 punches, and I hit you with 1, but I hit you better, and I actually land, like, who wins? Obviously, we win because we landed the more punches out of the fewer thrown. And I'm like, why are you guys defending a dude who didn't throw jack shit for like 6 rounds? I think in 7, he was landing like 10 punches per round. Lomachenko, up to like the 7th round. And it's like, why is that what the fuck? Like, I was so confused that they were like trying to make me feel stupid for thinking that Lomachenko lost. If Lomachenko had started the fight like he did in the 7th round, he probably wouldn't have lost. He probably would have edged it out, right? But my dude, what the fuck? Like, don't try to make me feel stupid just for thinking that Lopez won. I'm not saying that Lopez completely dominated, because I do disagree with Bernardo Osuna. If you guys remember, Bernardo Osuna at the end said something along the lines of, oh, Teofimo outboxed the best boxer in Lomachenko. And I'm like, no, he didn't. He didn't outbox him. He's just bigger. Like, he was just a bigger dude, and he negated Lomachenko's angles, which completely neutralized Lomachenko. But I don't think he outboxed him. Outboxing would have meant, oh, he's going to turn with him when Lomachenko turns his angles, and Teofimo's going to be there waiting for him. That would have been outboxing. Smothering him. He didn't do that. He's just big. He's just too big, and Lomachenko didn't do shit. In my opinion, Lomachenko lost more than Teofimo beat him. Lomachenko lost on his own fucking self. Not doing shit, jack shit for 6 rounds. Taking it easy and acting like every round was just test first round. Like the first round I got, I'm like, oh, yeah, he's going to take the first round to kind of like, see what Teofimo has. The second one, I'm like, oh, okay, buddy. Third one, I'm like, okay, buddy, let's do something now. When the fifth came and he still wasn't doing shit, I'm just like, and that's when you realize, okay, 1 p.m. at night says, he's respecting Loma's power. He's that. My light was falling. He's respecting Loma's power, but Lopez's power, but at the same time, it's negating him from doing what he usually does in the smaller weight classes. Hold on, let me fix this. So in that case, you have to take that into consideration. Yes, towards the end rounds, Lomachenko did come back, and he had some really good rounds. But even in the 12th, right? Even in the 12th round where they both kind of went at it, we saw that Lomachenko engaged and completely right, but Teofimo answered, and he answered very well. Yes, Teofimo's head was popping backwards every time Lomachenko landed a good punch, but he answered, and what he answered with was also very powerful and also connected very well. So you guys can't be mad at Teofimo for throwing more punches but landing less, and claiming that, oh, Lomachenko threw less but landed more, or landed more accurately, when he didn't throw. You guys can't be mad at Teofimo for throwing more punches, even though he was, it was hitting gloves, if Lomachenko wasn't doing shit. And that's just my opinion. But don't make me feel stupid for it. Don't try to degrade me for your opinion. And then I noticed that one of them had a shirt that said Loma on it. I'm like, motherfucker, how am I supposed to actually debate with you when you had a fucking Loma? I wish I would have seen it sooner. Then you're just a fanboy, my dude. Like, that pissed me off. I was like, I cannot do that. Especially not with people who I thought were my friends, who are trying to make me feel stupid. Like, at the end of the day, I take nothing away from Lomachenko. I don't think this says much other than, motherfucker, go back down to 126, 130. Don't be at 135. I don't take this and be like, ooh, Lomachenko exposed. Ooh, Teofimo exposed Lomachenko. Hype job. Like, no, that's not me. I still think that Lomachenko's the shit. He just needs to move back down to 130, maybe 126, and make good fights there, and more competitive, reasonable fights. And that's just my point on that. Helly, do you think about Fury Patricia fighting Takam? The guy has mocking and calling him bum. Fury is just, you guys know Fury's that way. He's going to mock stuff when other people do it, but then he's going to do it, and then he's going to call himself the best for doing it. I'm not mad at Fury. I know we haven't heard of Wilder since February, and that's kind of alarming. We saw that twerking video that surfaced of Wilder, but we haven't seen much else. So honestly, I'm not really worried about who Fury fights. I know that Wallen guy also wanted a rematch, because remember, Wallen's the guy that cut him really good back before his fight with Wilder. So I'm really excited to see it. Yeah. You guys ask weird ass fucking questions sometimes, and I don't get your reasoning behind them. Matches that had an 8-4. I think 8-4 is very reasonable. Because you can argue that Lomachenko won, let's say, 8 through 11. Like, if I gave Lomachenko any rounds, it would be 8 to 11. Right? The 7 was a swing round, but I'm gonna give it to Lopez because he was the aggressor, and because, again, yes, Lomachenko landed some good punches, but you saw Lopez return those same punches and cause damage too. I don't know. I'm not saying it wasn't like a fucking it was a blowout again. I don't agree with people saying that Teofimo boxed Lomachenko. That's not it. He's just bigger and he negated his angles. That's it. I'm not taking anything away from Teofimo. He did what he had to do, and I do commend him for not getting reckless and trying to knock Lomachenko out and getting reckless, especially in those 8-11 rounds when Lomachenko woke up. I was surprised that Teofimo didn't get reckless, try and knock this guy out. But I don't get why people are so sentimental and like emotional when it comes to defending Lomachenko. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, he didn't do shit. Why are you guys should be mad at him, not me? You guys should be yelling at him for not doing jack shit for 6 rounds instead of telling me I'm stupid because I think that Lomachenko lost. So I'm not friends with those people anymore just because I already get enough in the field. Like, I'm a girl, basically. When I go to media workouts and stuff, people, when they see a woman, they're like, what the fuck, groupie ass bitch, what does she do here? She don't know shit about boxing, right? And that's fine. You can have your opinion that I don't know shit about boxing, and I respect that. But when it's my friends, fuck you. Like, I'm not gonna be your friend. Not throwing combination earnest until 8 rounds, but people, yeah, that's the part that, again, please. And I was hoping they would tell me like the reasoning behind it, but they were just more focused in attacking me. So I'm like, y'all could eat dick. If Loma fought that way, I probably would have gotten KO'd. That's another really good point, Matt, because again, I said that maybe if he fought that way since the beginning, he would have won because the judges would have liked that, and the judges would have applauded him for standing up to a taller dude and like fighting toe to toe with him. But again, also it would have probably got him knocked out because again, it leaves you more open for counters. And at the end of the day, you're not the powerful one. Your opponent is. So if you're engaging, when you engage, you can get dropped because you're engaging with someone who punches harder than you, right? And with Lomachenko, it's not like he engages and then, leaves. No, he is very, very, that's what they call in the Matrix. He comes in one angle, throws a little punch, combination, then he moves and he's over there. He's on that side now. And that's what people have most problem with because he's over here punching you. And just when you're about to punch back, then now he's over there. But with the Teofimo, he's big. He's not going to let Lomachenko do that. So if they engage like they did, again, I think the 12th round was the most indicative of this, is that, yes, Teofimo and Lomachenko fought, toe-to-toe. But Teofimo got the better of those exchanges. Yes, Teofimo's head did pop back because he was getting punched. But he got the better of the exchanges in the 12th round. So it would have been similar had that started earlier. You know what I mean? But because Lomachenko didn't do shit for 6 rounds, that opportunity to show that didn't present itself up until the 12th round. So where Teofimo's like, okay, well, these 4 rounds, you've been like beating me because you woke up. But on the 12th round, okay, I'm going to wake the fuck up even more and I'm adjust to this. And he did. And he did better in the 12th round, in my opinion. I didn't give Lomachenko the 12th round. I gave Teofimo the 12th round. Because yes, Lomachenko was awake and he was, fighting, but Teofimo did too, and he adjusted and he showed that in the 12th round. So I do agree with Matt as well here that maybe that would have cost, instead of, yes, he would have done better, maybe he would have gotten knocked out. Because it's exactly, I thought Loma lost the fight waiting for 6 rounds. Teofimo didn't show he was better in fight. Yes. That's actually a very interesting thing. I don't think Teofimo would give Loma a rematch though, not because he's scared, but because he's mad that Top Rank and nobody really gave him a shot. I mean, his fans, but nobody gave him a shot to beat Lomachenko. And I think that's why he's gonna be like, no, fuck you. I beat you, and because no one else believed that I would beat you, I'm gonna keep this belt and you can suck my ass. You're not getting a rematch. So I don't know. That's just my thing though. What round do you think? That's a good one. I'm gonna say 6 or 7. Because yes, Inoue has gotten early knockouts, but we saw with Nonito Donaire that he went longer, and then he hasn't fought since. Right? So I think the inactivity is gonna want to get him a little bit more rounds in, but at the same time he's got a lot of power. So I think I'm gonna say 5, 6, 7. You think keep your all access time? Yes, Yes, I saw it. I was so happy. I was watching it yesterday after the Dodger game. I watched the part 2 where Andy Aguilar comes out doing the tank. In the sessions with Leo. And again, I have an interview with Andy Aguilar too on my channel. If you guys want to look at my channel, those interviews don't get a lot of views because people don't know who these people are. Like they see the thumbnail, and they don't recognize them, so they don't click. But this guy is Leo's strength and conditioning coach. So check it out. And yeah, like I like to see the part where Tank was in the house, in the big house, and he's like, "Oh, I want this too, and this is my first pay-per-view," and he seems hopeful. So I love that shit. I love All Access. I'm not paying for that. I might go and watch it at somebody else's house where they are showing it because I'm not trying to fucking pay that much either. Because I already paid for the Charlo pay-per-view. And what was the other one? What was the pay-per-view before the Charlo fights? Because I already remember that I already paid for 2 pay-per-views from PBC. Which one was the first one though? What was the first pay-per-view? I don't remember. Someone tell me, please. Because I remember I paid for the Charlo one, but before that, I remember I paid for another one. But I forgot which one it was. Is that bad that I already forgot? Does that mean it wasn't a good fight? Somebody please tell me. How many bias? I'm very biased. I think Wilder takes fair. Oh, you got 5 on it. No, I think Wilder loses again. I think Wilder lost to Fury twice. Actually, I had Fury winning that first fight. I think Fury got every round that he didn't get dropped in. So that's every round but 2. So no. I gotta disagree with you. 7-5 Lopez. Yeah, 7-5. 8-4. I'll even take the people that had it 115. Okay, fine. Like give Lomachenko that many swing rounds. I didn't think there was that many swing rounds, but okay. Why do you ask this? This is so fucking weird. This is the second time you asked this. What don't get it? Like what? Why do you guys ask about other people from like media? She's cool. I like her. I think her work is amazing. I like that she does interviews in Spanish. I think she's pretty great. I fuck with her. Like she is good, and she is. I love that. Again, she's very to the point. I love her content. I love her content on Fox. I like her, but she's not my. I don't. We're not like friends. We don't text. We don't talk outside of the boxing scene. She's cool. I admire her. She's great, but it always weirds me out when people ask me if I'm friends with people, like, because honestly, where does that come from? Like, why do you guys care? No offense, just wondering, and it's weird to me. I'm sorry if this sounds mean. It's just fucking weird to me. Why people ask me, like, are you friends with this person? Are you friends with this person? Or more when it's other women, because I feel like you guys are expecting me to like say fucked up shit, or I don't know what the deal is, but it's weird. Especially where I ignored it the first time and you're asking me again. Like, you want to know that badly? Why? Like, that's just scary to me. Again, I don't want to sound mean. It's just fucking weird. I'm sorry. Wait, what's a cherry pick? Oh, Tank? I mean, I can see why you feel this way. But I also want to give Leo his credit. So I don't want to call it a cherry pick. Wait, so Arnulfo, please, okay, Arnulfo. Please, how do you call it? Explain to me one thing. You say Tank is a cherry picker, and then you say he's gonna win by KO, but then you call him a cheeseburger Davis. So, oh wow, you're very emotional about this. Who hurt you, Arnulfo? Tell me. I'm here to be your friend. Okay, so you think Tank is a cherry picker, right? Because he's chunky? Like, he got chunky, so you're not... Okay, or you think he's overweight, and because he's overweight, over the weight limit, he's going to beat Tank? I mean, he's going to beat Leo? Do you guys think he's going to come in and weight or not? Tank? I think he is going to come in and weight just because it's a pay-per-view, and it would look really bad if he doesn't. But Yeah, I don't get that reasoning. Spence Garcia. Yeah, I got my plane tickets. I got my plane tickets to Spence versus Garcia, but I'm kind of second guessing it now because um the whole pandemic thing still, like I was hoping that by December, like we would be chilling or cases would go down, but they don't look like they're going down, especially not in Texas. Right now, when I'm watching the World Series, I know it's in Texas, and I see people out, no masks, people at the stadiums acting crazy, and I'm just like people don't give a fuck in Texas about the pandemic. So I'm like, should I go? But I do have my flight tickets already and my plane tickets, so I'm gonna have to go. I'm not gonna lose out on all that money unless I can sell them and change the plane tickets. But I'm most likely going to Texas for that fight. No, wasn't there a pay-per-view before the Charlo fights from PBC? There was one more pay-per-view in September or August. Who else fought in pay-per-view when PBC dropped all the fights that they were gonna make? Who fought? I forgot. But I remember paying for 2 pay-per-views so far. I paid for 2 pay-per-views so far, but I forgot which one the first one was. Not like post-pandemic, in the pandemic. I forgot which one it was though. This guy's laughing at his own joke. What's up, Andre? How are you? I'll call me crazy for this, but I've been this top 5. You know what? I am gonna call you crazy for that. What is your reasoning behind it, please? Just give me your reasoning, and I won't judge you. Maybe just a little bit. He said he's turning 14. You better make weight. Yeah, I think he'll make weight. Ugas wasn't pay-per-view. Ugas was like regular, I think. Haas on your top 3 pound. He went left and dead with. I cannot believe you guys called Nonito Donaire washed. You guys have no respect for legends. Meaning that the pay-per-views you most likely fought. No, Somebody else fought pay-per-view, but who was it? Who else fought pay-per-view? You guys, please. It's pissing me off that I remember. I remember because I had 2 parties. I had 2 pay-per-view parties. And one was a Charlo one. What was the other one? Who the fuck else fought? I forgot, you guys. But I think, let me go back. I need to check now. PBC fight schedule. August 20. I checked because I top 10. He fought all the best of 160, but I did not have him in my top 10. No. I don't think I've had him ever in my top 10, Jacobs. But I respect y'all. I don't know. You guys are right, I guess. Yeah, you guys are right. There was no pay-per-view. It's just me tripping. I was tripping then. I don't know. Maybe I was just drunk that day and thought it was pay-per-view. Crawford fought pay-per-view? Okay, so I think you just don't like Mayweather, and so then by association you don't like Tank, and now you're here trash talking them to validate your opinion. Cool. Dillian Whyte, that was on the zone. What do you think about? You know what? I expected more out of Salcedo, especially with his fight against Hooker. I was expecting him to go toe-to-toe war with Barbosa. But I'm not mad at it. I think Barbosa, he proved what he had to prove because they had their own animosity going on right there. Both Salcedo and Barbosa. Salcedo kept saying that he was going to knock out Barbosa. So I think, yes, Salcedo dropped Barbosa, but he wasn't hurt. And I just wish he would have stepped on the gas pedal a little bit more and gotten a little bit more, like aggressive, I guess. So it was a good fight. It was a good little fight before the main event. It was pretty cool. Charles the first and only one till Saturday. See, you guys, this is why I need you guys in my life because I am so dumb. Like, I honestly do not know. We had our New Jersey janky top rankers. Yo, say what you want about those janky top rank cards. They were very like whatever. But honestly, I miss having boxing on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Like it was fun. Like I remember like we'd be eating dinner and then boxing was on and that was like a cool little experience throughout the week, even though it wasn't like notable opponents or notable fights. Yes, we did have Joshua Franco on the Maloney fight, which I think that was like probably the best card of the whole PBC, I mean the whole top ranked summer bubble series. That's probably the best one. And of course, like there's a lot of fighters that have fought in those cards that wouldn't have gotten attention otherwise. So I think that came out good for them, you know? So this guy puts Jacobs. Yeah, I mean, I've never had Jacobs in my top 10. And I know, but I do know top 10 pound for pound lists are very subjective, so I don't really like to get into it or judge people for their choices. Bertabiev, I think I got Bertabiev. Nobody has beat Bertabiev in the amateurs, and I don't think anybody's gonna beat him in the pros. When I mean nobody, I mean the guys right now, right? Kovalev lost to Bertabiev in the amateurs a couple times. So did the nail Volstik, and he beat him again very badly. And I think Bivol, he has an awkward style, and that could definitely give Bertabiev some problems. But I think Bivol should not be at 175. I think Bivol should, amarrarse una tripa and go down to 168. I think Bivol's a smaller 175. I think he should go down to 168. I watched Bivol and David Benavidez sparring. It was awesome. But it gave me the feel that, see, these are the type of fights that Bivol should be in. And he would have a better chance with more power, like I like Bivol. I really like him. He's awesome. I love his style. A lot of people don't like, they call him boring, because he's kind of awkward with his approach. But I think Bertabiev is just too strong. Bertabiev is just, tiene manos de cemento el güey. I like him. Rigo, thank you. Thank you. You guys are so lovely. I think the topic needs to be discussed. I see Melissa Joy Phelps tweet. Melissa? Michelle. Her name is Michelle, not Melissa, Chris. Michelle Joy Phelps. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that she was crying and she said something about, how the fans can be very mean and stuff. And I get it. We have our hard days. I can't say that I care about random boxing fans talking shit to me because, one, I don't have that following that she does. Two, I'm not attractive like she is. So men who are like incels, they get mad at women just for being attractive, and they're gonna talk shit to attractive women just to kind of put them down, right? That's what insecure men do. Insecure men will put women down that are beautiful just so that they can make them feel like shit. I don't have the following. I don't have the same body attractiveness like Michelle Joy Phelps, right? So I don't really get that. But I do get sad when like other people are mean to me that I love, but everyone's different. Like with me, I don't care. If people on the chat will start telling me, and you guys have seen it, if you guys are here from previous chats, you have seen people calling me ugly, fat, whatever in the comments, and I'm just like, okay, like when it's someone I don't know and I don't like, shit, why do I care? I don't care what the fuck you say. I am fat and ugly. Like, what do you want me to do about it? It's been over 20 years like this. I think I know that by now, right? But when there's people I love calling me names, then I do get sad and I do cry. But as much as I want to validate her feelings and be like, hey, it's gonna be okay. And hey, don't pay attention to these guys. They're just like incels, probably living in their mom's basements, eating Hot Pockets, Sunny D, and masturbating into hot rag towels. Like, don't pay attention to them. As much as I want to tell her that, I also want to smack her in the back of the head and be like, bitch, if you don't shut the fuck up. You have a huge platform. You build yourself up. Like, you're a pioneer for other women who are trying to make it in the boxing biz. Like, please shut the fuck up and just don't mind them. I would chop my titties off for her platform. Like, so when she posts shit like that, I'm like, bitch, you don't shut the fuck up. Like, you have a whole platform. You get more positive comments than negative comments, so why focus on the negative comments? That's like if me and all of you guys are talking boxing and we're talking, and then someone says, hey, you ugly fat bitch. And I'm like, oh, you guys, why are you guys so mean? And you guys are bullying me. Why? When we're talking about, like, boxing, and pay attention to the good shit. There's 100 guys thirsting over you. In every picture you post, you have like 100 dudes thirsting on you. Focus on those dudes that are nice and thirsting on you. Don't focus on the ones in their mom's basement in their underwear talking shit to you through a fucking phone. So I do want to validate her feelings. I do want to say, hey, shit, it gets rough. Because she does have a big platform, and dudes are going to hate her just because she's hot and they are insecure, and that's what men do. But also, again, bitch, you got a platform. Shut up. Like, make money and shut the fuck up, please. Because I would fucking kill somebody to have your platform. No real, I will not kill somebody. YouTube, don't strike me. But yeah, I want to be like, yeah, it's going to be okay. Bullying sucks. But also, bitch, just walk away. Turn the fuck. You can take breaks from social media. Like, just delete your Instagram, delete your Twitter for a little bit. Who cares? Like, you're hot. You're successful. Everybody gives you interviews. Why are you mad? Why are you crying over some randos who probably, just don't have a job? Shut up. The Miracle has a clean resume. Bimora que chocolate. Chavez Jr. on drugs. Hey, but I don't think he's A level. I think he's B plus level. The Derevyanchenko fight was good. He fought Chavez, Michelle. What's your thoughts regarding Monster being hyped up to the next best thing? Because I think he's hyped. I don't think he's hyped, Ricardo. I don't think he's hyped at all. I have a very bad negative connotation with the word hype or exposed. I hate those words. I hate when fans bring up those words. I don't think the Monster's hype. I think he's proven so far what he's capable of, and it's been against really decent fucking opponents. Most of the people that he's fought have been previous champions, other unified champions, other, just current and former champions. He's beat them the fuck up and knocked them out. Yes, people love to bring up the Nonito Donaire fight because, he's washed. Nonito Donaire is still Nonito Donaire. Like, he had a low point and he went back up, and his fucking fights in the World Boxing Super Series were great. And that made you be like, holy shit, like Nonito Donaire is back to his old self. So yes, of course, you're gonna think, who the fuck is this Naoya Inoue Japanese guy? Like, fuck him. He went toe-to-toe war with an old Nonito Donaire. But if someone's gonna go toe-to-toe with someone, you would want it to be against a veteran who's pulling out tricks from under their sleeve against someone as powerful as Naoya Inoue. So I'm not gonna take that fight and be like, oh, that means only Donaire exposed Naoya Inoue. No, I think I can understand why some people still want to see more of him, but I do invite you guys to go back and look at the fights that he's been in, where he is, the crowning champions. When he's been a three division world champ already in like very short amount of time. So I think you guys should give yourself a chance to be proven wrong. Like, before you say things like, oh, hyped up. Give yourself a chance to go back, look at these fights, see these guys, and if you still think that very much your choice, I'm not saying, oh, he's not a hyped up. I think the thing is, because his knockouts are very flashy. Those are the type of knockouts that people like to see. I like Naoya Inoue. This is why I don't like pound for pound lists too. They're very subjective. People get really like emotionally invested into who gets picked, and also, emotionally invested in rejecting and judging and making a case for against anybody in the top 10. I I would definitely have him top 10, top 5, maybe top 3, questionable. Like, it depends. I don't know. I don't like with the top 10 bullshit. I don't really get into that again because it's very subjective, you know. But the fact that he's been 3 division world champ already, that he's been decrowning other champions, that he won the World Boxing Super Series, that's huge. I do not think he's hyped. If that answers your question. How do you know their mom's basement is nice? Mm-hmm. No, just hype. Look at his performance. I just answered that. Okay. Y'all, do y'all guys even know Nonito Donaire? Google him and his accomplishments. He's a future Hall of Famer. But I'm not. See, when people are using terms like this, then I know not to engage in actual debate because then this is coming from emotional. Like these things this is coming from an emotional part of yourself. It's not coming from a rational part. So I don't like to debate with people who use terms like that because you already got your mind up. We're not debating. You're just telling me how you feel, which is fine. I love that you guys are here telling me how you feel and your point of views. This is how we have conversation, right? But I'm not going to waste my time like trying to tell you guys my point because you guys have already your mind made up. And again, it comes from an emotional type of place. You guys seem very emotional about it. In this case, I do find it weird that people call critic. Yes, I mean, you do got a really good point, but I don't think they correlate. You know what I mean? I do agree with that. I do see that on Twitter a lot, that people who discredit, who credit Naoya Inoue, you know, they discredit, yes. But I think the intersection with that is that so many more people hate Canelo. Like, Canelo receives hate no matter what. You know, Canelo gets hate for just fighting whoever the fuck. He can fight whoever the fuck, people are going to talk shit. So I think that's where that intersects. That intersects because there's so many people that hate Canelo, that one is bound to hate him and discredit him for Kovalev, who is also an Naoya Inoue fan. You know what I mean? You can't have one boxer, one night stand. Who do you choose? It's a good question. Probably Sinisa Estrada. I'm going to go with Sinisa Estrada. Or, that's a good question. I think I'm just going to go with Sinisa. She's very cute. That's my answer. Guys, we didn't even talk. We're almost 2 hours in, but we haven't even talked about Usyk. People don't give a fuck about Usyk. Yes, she is, which is why she's my answer. We haven't talked about. He's scared. I love him, but he scares me. Did you guys see the last post that he put? Where like just today they're asking him like, oh, send they're asking him send a message to Derek. Hi, Derek. He is so funny, dude. Like, he is scary. Like, he looks like he would kill you if you gave him like the wrong order at a restaurant. But also, he's very hilarious. Like, he is a character. So before I leave you guys for the night, thank you for joining the live, of course, and always making it a fun one by participating in the comments. I do want to show you guys that video from today, where he's like, Derek. Because you guys know he was doing that the whole build up to this fight. He was like, Derek. Hello, Derek. So I'm going to show you guys, okay? Let me see if I can show you. Share screen. Chrome tab. Oh, fuck. Okay, right here. Share. Let me see. Can you guys see it? Yes. Okay, so let me try to put this one on. He's so funny to me. Why you can't hear it? Fuck.
Yeah. See you. Derek. How are you, Derek?
Message for Derek Chisora.
Derek. Hello. See you Saturday. I'm very happy. I'm here. See you. Derek. How are you, Derek?
Message.
The way he said "see you," I would shit myself. He said "see you," and then later he's like, he licked his lips. He's scary as fuck, but he's also very funny. Do you think Michaela Myers becomes world champ this weekend? It should be. Oh, should Ring? I thought Ring. I have the Ring magazine right here. You see it? I don't know. I think she does become world champion this weekend, but it's going to be a great fight. I like Michaela Myers. She's very how do they call it? Like, she has really good ring generalship. I like her, but her opponent's no joke, so I do think she does though. Usyk is a gentle giant. I love his feet. Like, he's just always dancing. He's like, when he's jogging and he's like, Derek. I love it. Like, it's fucking hilarious to me. I love that guy. And then when, like, it reminds me, I know you're gonna get mad at this, but it reminds me of back when, like, with Klitschko to be like, whatever it is, he's like, oh, let's go, champ. Kind of similar, but like, this is him just saying Derek. I think there's this one too. He just shit. And I know he was sad because Lomachenko lost. So imagine he loses and Lomachenko lose in the same month. That'd be pretty wild, right? This one, okay. Let me share it again. Let me share this one again now because this one's funny. And it's similar. So let's see.
Derek! I'm coming for you! Derek!
So he's getting ready for that heavyweight. Is this one?
Derek! Where are you, Derek? I'm Ran. Derek!
It's the kicking for me. Thank you, Infinite Torture. Love you too. You guys have a good night. Thank you so much, Justin. You guys are awesome sauce. Thank you for being so nice. Usyk loses my KO. Oh no, Junior, don't say that. I love Usyk, but I don't think obviously, when you're a cruiserweight, you have to move up because what the fuck, like, people don't really care about cruiserweights. No offense. When you're a cruiserweight, either you're too big to be a light heavyweight and too small to be a heavyweight. So it's kind of like you're like in like purgatory of boxing when you're in cruiserweight. And I do think he has like an outstanding boxing ability. I mean, the whole Ukrainian people and Eastern European dudes do tend to have, kind of better boxing ability and boxing IQ than most fighters. But the power of heavyweight, it's something you don't want to fuck with, right? So I am scared for him, Junior. Don't get me wrong. I just don't think he loses to Chisora. Maybe up along the ladder with somebody else. But I would hate for him to lose against Chisora. But we'll only find out on Saturday. We got 3 fights, you guys. 3 fights this Saturday. I have to. We've been here for 2 hours, Chris. 2 hours. I like that way we're all tuning in and we all said our prediction. I might do a video like prediction wise, but I think we've talked about it enough here. I wanted to get on live and see how much we would talk about it to see if maybe I required a video or not. I'm gonna try to do one just because of Teofimo and Lomachenko one got a lot of views for my small channel, so thank you guys for that. But yeah, we'll see how it goes, and then maybe we can go live on Sunday instead, or next Monday again, so we can talk about the fights. Okay, you guys. Woo, Usyk UD. I thank you, Usyk UD, as well. You guys, thank you so much. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Obviously, I'm pretty sure most of you guys already subscribed because you're here. Hello. But tell your homies, like, there's this girl. Her name's, you can say there's a person, and her name is Lily, and her name's Xicana Boxing, and she does boxing, and you guys might like her, so tune in. And share me to your grandma, your grandpa, your baby daddy, baby mama, Sancho, tia, tios, okay? Love you guys so much. Oh, watching football. I need to get into football because if the Dodgers break my heart again tomorrow, I know I've been saying this since I've been alive, but my heart can't take another heartbreak. So I need to go to another sport and migrate to another sport with a winning team. Because I cannot. Baseball just hurts my feelings so much. But you guys, prayers up, Dodgers tomorrow. Imagine if the Lakers win 2020 and the Dodgers win 2020. That would be huge. That would be fucking huge, right? So let us pray. Let us pray. Okay, you guys, good vibes, everybody. Good night. Love you guys. See you next week. Okay, see you guys. Bye.